I paid her to do that before. Get it going. How's everybody doing today? Good, good, good. As Gene said, I'm Brandon Montemayor. I'm over at Keller Williams. I've been with Keller Williams since 2008. I have a team over there. Part of our business plan and our expansion model involves us having another team in Las Vegas, and we've been pretty involved with Keller Williams at the international level to set up a game plan, which they call agent expansion, which is creating a formula, something that works in your local market, and then taking it to different markets and launching it really anywhere you want. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is systems, protocols, how to kind of make your business a business. And I think that's one thing in the real estate business that people don't focus on that they need to, right, is treating their business like a business, right? We sometimes get into this business thinking that, oh, it's going to give us the freedom to do what we want, right? Realtors make a ton of money. It's an easy job. Anybody can do it. And you probably see that from the friends who call you probably weekly saying, hey, I think I'm going to get in the business. And you're like, you sure? So what I want to talk about today is some of the stuff that we do. I want to talk about what we've kind of gone through over the last few years in the market, what we're experiencing right now, what I think is coming at us. And during this whole process, I would love feedback. I'd love questions. It's a great setting and a great group to do that within. So any questions before I get going? Nope, good to go. Okay. So let's discuss where we've been. Okay, we were just in a market for the last few years, and we started getting comfortable and understanding short sales, bank owns, all of that type of stuff. There was still inventory out there, but you put something in escrow today or you got an acceptance today, who knows when you're going to get paid on it, right? We were dealing with all of those kind of unforeseen things. Right when we get comfortable with that short sale process, they throw another curveball at us. So we've become very good at learning to change, right? So we have to continue to do that. Now we're moving into we moved into a market where we went from a decent amount of inventory, 1,000, 1,200 homes of short sales bank owned, down to where we had 250 homes. And of those 250, there's probably actually 100 of them that were actually viable options for our buyers out there. We were getting 10 to 20 offers, and it was just crazy, right? If you weren't someone who prayed or went to church before, I'm sure you've had that thing. I swear I'll give up smoking if you accept this offer. I swear I'll spend more time with my family if you accept it, right? So we've all had that talk before with ourselves. And if you got it accepted, from the stress and all that, who knows if you followed through on it. Yeah, kept smoking. Exactly. Because now we got to get through escrow and all the lending stuff that they throw at us there. And appraisals and all of that. So we've learned to be tough. And I first everybody give yourself a hand. You've made it through that ugliness, all right, and you're here. Okay, now we're moving into something different. Okay, we're starting to see, even though inventory is still low, it's twice what it was a year ago, because I think a year ago this time we were at an all-time low of 240, 250 homes on the market. We're now creeping to 500, depending on what you track and which areas you track. We don't generally track Acton, Agua Dulce because we don't do a ton of business. But as of Monday in the local areas, Castaic, Saugus, Newhall, Stevenson, Ranch, Valencia, we're at about 483 active listings. Okay, so we're twice what we were before. We have a lot of equity sellers. Close to 90% of what's going on out there are standard equity sellers, right? There's only a handful. I think there was 12 bank-owned homes, probably the same 12 that have been on there for the last 3 months. Right, there's 47 or so short sales, right? So that's kind of hanging in there, but it's not a ton. And now our buyers, we're getting in a position where it can be a little bit pickier as a buyer because we know, although it's not flying on, there's still stuff that's coming on. We don't have to overpay. We don't have to push it to a certain point where we know it's going to be an appraisal issue and get through all of that. So now we can actually collect commission checks at the end that have the full amount or pretty close to. I don't know about you, but for the last year, we've been donating a lot. So we're getting a little bit more tight this year. But in any case, we've moved through that and we're moving into this new phase. And the next thing we're going to start seeing a lot of that you're probably starting to see now is contingency sellers and buyers. right? So we're going to go back to what we were seeing, you know, how long ago was that? 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, where I've got to sell this to get me into this. So having solutions to those, right? We're problem solvers. If we can get out there and show people that it's possible, right, and show them how it makes sense, I can move you from point A to point B, keep your payment near the same, and get this all done, you know, and get you in the home you want. Would that make sense for you? All right? And most of them are like, absolutely. They just don't think it's possible. Because a year ago when we were talking to them, we said, oh, you're upside down. You're not going to be able to sell anytime soon. And now they've got $100,000 in equity, like Shelley was saying. Right? So the market has changed completely. And it's our job to educate everyone out there on what's coming at them, what their options are, and how they should be responding to that. Because how we frame that, how we communicate to that to them, will have a ton of impact on how we do in our businesses and in our personal lives. Okay? So the real estate market, much like many other areas of business and life, it rewards the people who get there first. Okay? And to go a step further than that, it doesn't always reward the people who get there first, but it rewards the people who get there first with the right systems and the right tools. Okay? We have a ton of opportunity coming at us in the next few years, I feel. And he said, and regardless of what the market was doing, when people were saying the sky was falling and these short sales and oh my gosh, right? There was people out there selling 500, 600, 700 homes a year, making more money than they've ever made because they figured out how to get in front of that wave and let it push them right through the finish line. Okay? So there's another opportunity out there. You just got to find it. Okay? There's more business out there. You just got to find it. Right? And you can do it doing something you enjoy, but you have to have the tools and the systems in place to get that done. So that's one thing I want to talk about today is how to get all of that ready. So when the opportunity does come, right, you're not unprepared to take full advantage of that. Right? The ones who are going to ride this next wave into retirement or just into a very comfortable place are the ones who, as things start going crazy again and the listings start flying on to the market and we get back up to 1,500, 1,600 homes on the market and we start balancing out and there's buyers out there and there's good options where on the first day you can show them 3 or 4 options that might make sense and write an offer right after. That's coming again. Okay? But if you're not prepared to handle that, you're going to do what most people did in that boom market, which was, you know, close 1 or 2 a month. And that's fine, but just kind of be crazy because you're having to run those things through, ride that typical cycle where every 90 days we're starting over, right? Or you can set up the system so that when that happens, it doesn't stop. You're just constantly turning those things out. And one of the greatest things that I've had the opportunity to go around and speak for a lot of different groups and not, you know, out of state, in state. You get outside of the 5-14 split, right? It's a whole different world out there. I'm sure you've experienced that working with, you know, most agents who call with an 818 or a 310, right? I'm just like, oh no, okay. If you're one of those, I take the, you know. So in any case, but one of the coolest things that we have the advantage of that most people don't out there in the country is team player vendors and team player service or support staff that wants to help, all right? Shelley, Steve, Gene, all right? Everyone's willing to help you grow your business. So if you're a single agent, you can't look at it that way. You got to look at the team you have around you and fully utilize that, right? They're all dying to help you, and they will help you put these systems through. They've watched these cycles go through, right? They know how to take advantage of these cycles. So get in with those people and build the systems that you need to have to take full advantage of what we're going to be seeing over the next few years. Ask questions. Model what's working. Find the right people who are doing the right things. Right? It took me like 5 years, but you know, 1 email every 3 months over to Neil Weichel to find out what he's doing. I've kind of pieced it together, and he doesn't even know it. So, you know, he won't give you it all at once, and sometimes you have to just keep emailing him until he answers. Right? But he'll give you a little bit, and it's the same thing with everybody out there. Okay? If you ask, if you're humble, if you're grateful, right, they'll tell you what they're doing. All right, and that's the great thing about what we're doing out here is it's easy to find out what's working. You just got to be willing to ask and get out there. All right. So as we say, market shifting. Okay, and as they say, shift happens. Right. So we got to learn how to deal with that shift. Okay. you might feel like the market has shifted all over you in the last few years, all right, and that's not uncommon. It has, all right. It's been a little bit crazy, and like I said, we're starting to see more of that happening. Does anybody feel a little bit beat up from what we kind of just went through over the last years? You don't have to raise your hand. You can just think it in your head, but we've all been there, all right? We've all been at spots where we spent 6 months, 9 months, a year on a short sale or something like that. We've been counting on that paycheck. We've been counting on that thing to come through. We've been working hard on it, and it ends up dying, going to foreclosure, right? But we're pulling out of that. So again, we need the systems in place that are going to allow us to get these tables turned around and start taking advantage of what's going on in the shift market. All right. So one of the things that we've focused on, all right, one of the things that I think we do better than most out there, or if anything, all out there, is we play database and relationship building really well. Okay, we have great systems in place where we have people staying in contact with our clients every other week, all right, at least, but they're getting touched anywhere between 30 to 36 times a year. Okay, so when they think about real estate, there's no question that they're thinking about us. When I first started in the business back in when I got back in the business in 2008, I kind of did what most people do, which was I went to a lot of different seminars to learn what was working, and I'd leave excited about something. So at one point in my career, I was doing open houses every weekend. Right? I was doing social media. I was trying databasing. Okay, I was trying 800 numbers. You name it, I had it out there. So I had about 7 or 8 lead generation systems I had moving for me at all times. Problem was I wasn't great at any of them. Right, so each one of them were maybe turning out a deal or two a year, and that wasn't bad. That was 15, 16 deals a year. I was okay with that. I was living a decent life, but those weren't the numbers that I wanted to do. I wanted to do something at a higher level, and I also didn't want to be giving up my weekends every single weekend to sit in an open house. Half the time people weren't showing up, or as nosy neighbors coming over and talking and kind of wasting your time. So I wasn't being productive. I had a couple kids. My wife and I got married. We had 2 babies, and all of a sudden now the weekends are a little bit more valuable while I want to be home spending time with them. So I said, okay, I've got to change something. So we got committed to databasing. Okay? Now, moving forward in this shifting market, I don't think you have to pick one specific thing, but I do think you need to be the best at the one thing you like to do. Okay, if that's social media, look at people who are doing social media. If you're friends with people on Facebook, okay, think about the first ones that come to mind. Someone just yell out a name for someone who does Facebook well, or you see pop up all the time.
Brandon Montemayor.
Yeah, my sales director right there. Go for it. Tomorrow House.
Sherry and Zach Brown.
Sherry and Zach Brown, absolutely. Bjorkman, you ever see him post anything? Never, right? Okay, so there's people who do this really well, and if you ask them, Deanna Ravetti, that's another one who does an amazing job of getting out there. If you ask them how much business they pull from this, right, it's a ton. For a lot of them, it's the majority of their business. I know we're going to do a minimum of $150,000 to $200,000 this year in commissions from Facebook. People who aren't even in our database that have come to us through Facebook. Right? Once or twice a week, we're getting messages, either questions, a come list me, hey, I've got a friend, something in there from just staying in front of people. All right, and we don't do it at the same level that some of the other ones do. All right, but we're out there continuously. Not 4 or 5 times a day, but enough where people see us and know that we're in the business. Okay, and now when I say the best, all right, I don't mean you need to be better than everyone else. So some of us might not have the ability or the budget to do something like what Josh Seuss does, getting out there and is in everyone's mailbox all the time. Okay, but he does that best. He's worked his way into doing that best. You need to do it the best for what you can do. Right? And if I had a very heart-to-heart or straightforward talk with any of you, and we started to look at what you were doing in the business, I think for the most of you out there, you would tell me I could do a little bit more. Okay, some of you might tell me I can do a lot more. Okay? But again, sometimes we spread our energy, we spread our efforts, we spread our money, the time, energy, money that we're spending on our marketing, and we move it across so many different things, right, that all of them are just so-so. Right? And they're great because we get rewarded, once or twice a year on those things, so we keep it going, and we feel a little bit scared to pull out of that because it's a nice, even place. It's what you've gone accustomed to. But if you want to move to that next level, something's got to change. Okay? Market shifting, you need to shift too. Right? You need to shift. That's mentally. So it starts up here, being okay with pulling out of those safe things and moving into something that you're going to be a little bit more passionate about, that you're going to be better at, all right, and the best that you can be at. So any questions up to this point? Good. Yes. What was your name? Judy. Hi, Judy. Yes. Uh-huh. Okay, absolutely. Good. All right, so we have a few different programs we run, and this is one of the things that I was going to be sharing with you guys today. Okay, so no, it's good. Perfect lead-in. Great timing. Two main programs. All right, one that we call our 33 Touch. Okay, through our 33 Touch, we are sending an email every month to the people in our database. All right, so that's 12 touches. They see us every month, and that consists of the blogs that we do. We now do 2 blogs a week. We're ramping it up to 4 blogs a week. We get out, we meet with local vendors in the community. So yesterday we were with Casey Kirkman over at Mayflower Moving Company and did a little quick 2-3 minute video with him saying, hey, what do you guys do? What do you offer to our clients? And what kind of deal are you going to give them? Right? So on the video, we sit down, I interview them. We send that out to our database. We throw it on Facebook. They see us out there. It creates that perception that, it's huge. Oh, man, he's negotiating deals for us. All right, right now, that's the guy we want to be working with. Right, so those go out once a month. It's that email newsletter. Now, that's an exact same thing. We do one that's a little bit more custom with some personal information. But if you ask Title, Escrow, NHD, they have all of these generic newsletters. It really doesn't matter what goes out. Content's great. What's important is that they see your name in their inbox monthly. Okay, that's what's going to remind them you're in the business. So those 12 touches there. And then we move into another touch per month, which comes through handwritten note, email, Facebook message, a text. We come from so many directions, phone calls, right? Usually 4 phone calls a year just to check in and say hi, right? But we come from so many directions that they just think we're all over the place, right? They don't realize that we're hitting them that many times because it's not a phone call every month, all right? If you have a person calling you once a month, at some point you're going to start dodging that call if you really don't want to talk to them, right? But we text, we email, we Facebook. We come from so many directions. We send birthday cards. Right, we send out a magnet every year with the Angels and Dodgers schedule. So we come from so many directions on that they just, they're excited to see us. They know when we give them something, it's something of value. Right? We never come straight at them and say, who do you know who wants to buy or sell? It's always we're coming with a gift, we're providing information, and we're making ourselves available. So at any time you go into any of our clients' homes, our phone number has either hit their phone within the last 2 weeks or an email. It's easy to find us. All right? If they have a friend who needs to buy or sell, they're not searching through piles and piles of stuff to find our contact information. It's right there. We get referred really easily, and we make sure that we're staying in front of them and providing information. Okay? The next one, and this is the one I like to talk about most, because if you got into the real estate business, it was probably at some point, at least in the early stages, because you like helping people. All right, you like helping families, you like that whole process of taking care of people, providing them information, making sure they're led down the right path, right, and not just out there in the hands of someone who might not be looking out for their best interest. So we have a thing called the Target 25. Okay, what the Target 25 is, and there was an agent who was on a webinar. His name's Les Walden. He's from South Carolina. He's in a town, I went to Clemson out of high school to go play baseball, so that was part of the reason I listened to it, and once I heard it, I was like, oh man, we're doing this. So he averages about 160 closings per year. Okay, they have a database of around 300 people in a town of like, I think it's 20,000 people. Okay, 160 closings a year in a town of 20,000 people. Okay, what are we at in Santa Clarita? How many people? Yeah, too many. Okay, yeah, exactly. Right, there's a ton of people out there. All right, so if he can do that many transactions in that small of a town using this basic system, right, we can all do it. Now it's a process. He's been staying true to it, and he's been doing it year after year after year, but he's getting the results he needs. And I promise you, you stick to this for a couple years, your business will be exactly where you want it to be. Not only your business, but your life, because those tend to follow each other. Business gets good, life gets better. We don't sweat the small things that we did when business is not going so well. Okay? So the target 25 is pretty simple. Right? We want to stay in touch with this person on a monthly basis. So once a month, all right, they're getting something from us, either a phone call or a small gift. And it's simple. Does anybody do Buffini, or has anyone been to a Buffini thing? Absolutely. You heard of pop buys before? All right, pop buys are just little gifts that we drop off on their doorstep. Okay? So once a month, we're either calling them, and we rotate months. We either call to say hi, and hey, how's it going? And these are friends. Okay, this is a different level than that database that we were using before. Right? These are people who we know their kids. We're taking them out to lunch. Right? We're inviting them to family functions. We're making them our best friend. Because very rarely will your best friend not work with you or not refer you, or fire you if you're having a rough week and things aren't going well. Okay, and we're looking for one referral a year out of all of these people. So for 25 people in your target 25, which again the goal is to maybe grow it bigger than that one day once you can handle it, but as a starting point, 25 people each giving you at least one deal per year, whether they're buying or selling themselves, or whether they're telling their friends about it. That's 25 deals. If you could automate 25 deals or count on 25 deals a year in your business, would life change? Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Think about the systems you're right now. Now add that 25 to it. Okay. Life changes. And I guarantee you when you have that 25 in place, we start adding a few more. But we've done the studies on this. We've talked to a lot of people. The ratios on this, for every one person that you take care of this way, you're going to get one deal. Okay? Now, there's a chance that one of those people in there or a few of those people in there might not refer you or do any business with you that year, but there's going to be people in there who give you 2 or 3. Okay? The people we're looking for is not necessarily our best friends or the ones we like to hang out with. It's the ones who are going to be willing to refer us business. Okay? The ones who, and we've all got these friends, who could be sitting here having dinner. Here's someone on the other side of the table talking about real estate and poke their head over. Usually the friends that drink are better at this because they're willing to interject themselves in other people's conversations, right? But the ones that say, hey, I've got a friend you need to work with. Right? Well, we already got an agent. No, you don't understand. Get rid of that agent. You need to work with my friend. Okay? You take care of people, they will do that for you. Okay? Who doesn't want to refer people? Don't you feel great when a friend says, hey, you know what? I need to get my carpets clean. You say, I've got a person for you. Okay? And you know that person's going to take care of them. Right? So that's what we're doing. We're getting ourselves out there. Once a month we're sending, or every other month we're making a phone call to say hi. Every other month we're dropping off a little gift on their doorstep. The gifts range between $1 to $5. You know, we try to stay closer to the dollar range because it's more the thought that counts. Something that's functional. You know, it's, you know, we dropped off a barbecue spatula a couple months ago, and we put something corny on there. And I get more texts for our corny comments on there making fun of me, but at least they're seeing it. We said we flip for your referrals, and you know, I just get crushed by my friends on, oh, you flip for my referrals, huh? What else will you flip for? So you know, but again, they saw it and they remember us, and they'll go out and tell people about us. So mission accomplished on that one, and that's it. Every other month, a little gift. Every other month, a phone call, and then twice a year we take them out to lunch, okay? Or we have a client appreciation dinner, right? And I know Gene is the king of those, so. Right, how many people? 10 people. All right, you just knocked out, you know, between 5 to 7 people who, you know, if they're bringing spouses on your target 25 list. You do a few of those a year, and you've had your face-to-face contact with them. They know you're investing in their your friendship with them, your relationship with them. They're going to give back. Okay, so that's what we focus on doing. We take care of people, they take care of us. How am I doing on time?
You're doing great.
Good. Okay. So that's our target 25. Any questions with that or the database and stuff that we do? Yes. What was your name?
I'm Hal Neff.
Hal.
And
How's it going, Hal?
just out of curiosity, what contact manager do you use?
Top producer. That's the one we've liked the most. That seemed to be the most consistent for us. And the way we use it, we don't use it to manage escrows. We don't use it to track leads. It's mainly and only, or it's solely for focusing on our database and implementing action plans. You know, you can use it for other things, but we have other things to manage transactional stuff and leads. But Top Producer has been awesome. Auto emails and stuff like that. Nope. Everything comes now, and people I think overcomplicate this, and we got to keep it simple. KISS, right? Keep it simple as you possibly can. So when our action plan pops up, it says email number 1 to Joe Smith. Okay. At the beginning of the year, we went through and we planned what email number 1 looked like. Dear blank. All right. I hope all is well. If you need anything, let me know. And there might be a quote at the bottom. If you're reading this, you're alive, so smile. You know, right? And that's email number 1. We copy, we paste, we send that out, and people respond all the time. Oh, hey, Brandon, how's it going? Hope all's well. Right, and it's just quick. You know, we don't open it up to a big, long conversation, but they know we're there. They know we're thinking about them, and it's easy. All right? I've done the auto ones, and I've spent hours and hours trying to set that up, and I end up going back and end up sending it myself anyway because those always tend to kind of go screwy or get sent to spam or something like that. So we just keep it simple, right? Handwritten note number 1. We already know what that looks like. Okay. Now this kind of rolls into the systems part of this. If you create those action plans on Top Producer or whatever CRM you use, if you lay out exactly what you want put on every single handwritten note or every single email or every single text, right? How easy is it to take that process, instead of you having to write those handwritten notes every day, hiring a high school student for 5-6 hours a week on a Monday or a Tuesday, bringing them into the office, sitting them down, paying them $50-$60 to knock out all of your handwritten notes, to send out all of your emails, to send out all of your birthday cards. Okay? Simple. Who would trade $50-$60 for 10 to 15 hours of your week back? Please raise your hand for that one. Okay. All right. And that's what this game's all about. Okay. The more you're able to automate, the more you're able to delegate to people who you know are going to get it done, the more you get to do. Okay. So I do 3 hours of lead generation a day without doing anything. All right. All of our stuff's going out. Our emails are going out. Everything's so automated. We're moving in different people into different systems. So every system I've brought on board, including social media, all right, including the database, including going after expireds or phone lists, I don't touch any of that, and it gets done every day. Because I found someone who is better than me, who enjoys it, who's good at it. If I had to call expireds or door knock, I would be, I mean, there's a lot of different jobs. I would pick any other job beside that. When I got into I was in the business for a few years when I was 19 years old with Glenn Rollins over at The Executive, and he said, okay, well, you need to cold call and you need to door knock. Okay? By about day 4, he came in and my head was down on my desk, and he looks up, he's like, you all right? What happened? And I said, I can't do this. You know, I had a person slam the door on my face. You know, I was trying not to cry as I'm going to the next door. You know, my God, don't happen here because I'm just going to crumble. Right? People making fun of me on the phone. I'm like, I can't do that. So for me, I don't have that thick skin. I'm an athlete. I can take a lot of stuff, but that kills me. All right? I don't like people knocking on my door, so I won't knock on people's door because, you know, it's just, that's not, it works. But for some people, they're great at doing that. Right? We have a guy in our office, Patrick Fitzgibbons. Right? He's amazing. He has very thick skin. He has no problem going and knocking on someone's door who's had an NOD filed on them and saying, hey, I'm here to help. What can I do? Okay, for me, I'm like, not sure if they're going to shoot at me when I knock on the door, so I can't even deliver my message. I'm stumbling over my words. We even did a campaign where we just dropped something off on the door, and every door I went to, I was like scouting the neighborhood to make sure no one was home before I went up there, because I didn't want to get caught halfway through and actually have to talk to someone. So that's a problem when you're in real estate and you don't want to talk to people. I figured out that wasn't for me. Okay, then so rather than forcing myself through that and miserable and taking up drinking and who knows what else to get through it, I decided to move on, all right, and get focused on what I did really well, which was take care of the people I know, love, and trust, and who know, love, and trust me. Okay, so I mean, is that an easy job? Yeah. Right, taking care of the people around you. Most of you do it anyways. Do it on a bigger scale and grow your business because of it. Yes?
So you have someone else do the door job of like your spatulas and all that?
Absolutely. I did it once and it was like 6 hours. I'm like, oh, this is awful. But most of the people aren't home when we do it. I text them. So I have someone do it. I've got a high school student who will do it for, $12 an hour to drive around, and we lay out the route and we say, okay, this shouldn't take any longer than 6 hours. So, and it's just trial and error at the beginning. I give them the map, and then they text me every 5 homes that they drop. They text me who they just dropped, and I send a quick text that I create once and copy it, and then I send it to those 5 people and say, hey, just dropped a little something off on your door. Hope all is well. Right? And we're getting responses from everybody on this stuff. Okay, but here's the key: you have to do it. You don't do it. If you're going to do it and you're going to do it once and you're not going to follow through, don't do it. Right? Go out to dinner, spend that money on a nice sushi dinner or steak or something else. All right? Anything but that, because this is a marathon thing. This is a commitment. If you're not willing to go the full 26 miles on this thing, then don't start now. It's not a 5K. Okay? It's definitely not a sprint. Right? This business rewards the people who continuously do things over and over and over and don't miss. All right. But the main thing I want you guys to think about, we have a process. My partner and I, Jason Lindstrom, we're writing a book. We have a coaching program that we're in right now, individual and group coaching. We actually do have another company called My Base is Covered that does the databasing end of this for real estate agents. Lost my train of thought there. With all of this stuff in place, like I said, you get this stuff in place, you get someone to execute it for you, you get to focus on the stuff that we should be doing, which is getting out on listing appointments, showing buyers, negotiating contracts, right? Not worried about chasing around termite reports and all that stuff. So it's just, it's getting everything in the right place so that you can go and execute at a high level, okay? But everything, like I said, everything that we put into place, there's a system, there's a process to it, okay? And it's all documented. That's one of the things that I don't think us as realtors do enough, and that's document our systems. If you don't want to have to do the jobs you are doing every single day for the rest of your life to create business, you document your systems and you find someone, right? The who is what we call it, okay? You find your who, all right? You find the person who's as good as you or better at doing what you're doing, and you turn it over to them, right? It's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your business. I guarantee you get it back tenfold. If you made the right hire, if you found the right who, right, they will drive your business to a whole nother level. Okay? And again, that's sometimes where we get that tunnel vision. We think, oh, our clients will only work with us. They don't want to work with anybody else. Not true. Absolutely not true. Our clients will work with the people who give them the care, the attention, and the professionalism that we provide them as well. So if you can find the right person who can do what you do or better, they're happy to work with them, right? It's part of the process. All right. So one of the things, a couple minutes? Okay. So and kind of wrapping up, we do things called a 90-day build out, and we'll share it again at some point in the future. But I focus on one area of my business for 90 days at a time. So if you want to go database, right, you want to do social media, right, spend the next 90 days focusing just on that. Okay, that's all you do. 2-3 hours a day of focusing on and finding the best information you can to automate that system and put it into play right, and have it working hard for you. Right? I guarantee you spend 90 days extremely focused on that, we're good to go. You will have that automated, moving on to the next thing. 180 days from now, all right, 6 months, you'll have your business in a different place that you never thought it would be if we focus on that. So kind of just in closing, all right, ready, aim, fire. Everything you do, all right, get the right skill set in place. That's our ready spot, okay? Or get the right mindset in place, I'm sorry. We got to be prepared to get into whatever we're going to go through and commit to it. Okay, the aim is the skill set. Find the right people to copy, all right? Find the right tools, find the right resources to get you the result you want, all right? And the last point is fire or getting into action, okay? Ready, aim, fire. You take approach, or you take the approach of ready, aim, fire at everything you do, and you're objective in the process, and you're honest with yourself on where you are and where you need to be, right? I guarantee you that this business is the best platform to accomplish all the goals you want. Okay? You just got to take a systematic approach at it. Right? Thank you guys for allowing me to come speak to you today.